destination-based cash flow tax is really a fundamental change in the way that we would tax the profits of multinational companies. There are two elements. The first is the cash flow element, which says we just tax cash flows of a company. So when you have an expenditure, they get a deduction. When they get some income, they're taxed. So that's a kind of relatively straightforward element of the tax. The more radical element is the destination-based, which is to say we would like to tax the profit in the place where the sale is made to a third party. So it's where really the multinational makes its sales rather than where it does its production or where it owns its assets. And that's really a very radical change from the existing system. If you take an example of Starbucks, so Starbucks has many coffee shops in the UK. You think it would be relatively straightforward to tax Starbucks in the UK because we can, we see their coffee shops there, people go there. But actually, people pay more for Starbucks, a Starbucks cup of coffee than they would for some other cup of coffee. And that's related to the value of the Starbucks brand name. So Starbucks actually own the Starbucks brand name in some other country, and they pay a fee for the right to use that Starbucks brand name. And that creates questions about, okay, where is that profit made? Is it made in the place where they sell the cup of coffee, or is it made where they own that brand name? So the destination-based cash flow tax, as I'm thinking about it, has been very much on the agenda of the US government over the last few months, and it was actually proposed by the House of Representatives last year. So there's been quite a big debate in the US at the moment as to whether it's a good idea for the US to introduce it unilaterally. And that's really quite different from all countries doing it simultaneously. And there are strengths and weaknesses of a country doing it unilaterally. Beyond that, it has some similarities to what's being proposed in Europe. So the European Commission has proposed, it's a slightly different tax system. They proposed what they call a common consolidated corporate tax base. What that would do would be to effectively tax the worldwide, to tax the European-wide profits of companies operating in Europe, but then to allocate that across countries according to a formula. Now, one of the elements of that formula is sales, and so that would be similar to a destination-based tax.